Hey everyone, my name is Maury Limatainen and this is my week 2 assignment for the Coursera course Introduction to Music Production. Today I'm going to be talking briefly about recording in your DAW and more specifically the steps that you need to take every time you record in your DAW. The DAW that I'll be using is Reaper, and I'll be showing a series of brief video clips explaining everything that you need to do. So the first thing that we have to ensure that we do is to check that we have, or ensure that we have a good project name and location. So I've already opened up the Reaper window and I'm going to open up a new project, and immediately before I do anything else I'm going to save the project as. So we want to do a logical name that will make sense and that you can easily find afterwards. And we're going to call this Introduction to Music Production Week 2. And in this case I'm going to hit save because I'm okay with it in the default folder that's outlined here in the location bar. So the next thing that we need to do is check our digital audio preferences. So in this case we're going to go under the File menu, we're going to go to Project Settings, and here we see a couple things. Here under Project Settings we have our project sample rate, and in this case we are going to select 48 kilohertz. A number of different options, of course, but 48 kilohertz ought to do it just fine. And then we're going to go under the Media tab, and you will see we will have the wave bit depth at 24 bit, which is exactly where we want to leave it at. Again, we have other options, but we're going to leave it at 24 bit. Now the next thing that we want to check is to confirm our file type. In this case we're going to be using WAV. Again, there are other different file types, but for the purposes of this recording we'll leave it as WAV. It is a lossless file type, so in this case we'll be able to maintain all of the information. The fourth thing that we want to check now is to look at our hardware settings. We're just going to click OK from our previous settings that we just adjusted, and in Reaper we go under Options and go to Preferences. There are a number of preferences here on the left hand side, but in this case we're now going to look at Audio Device. So in this case we are going to select Complete Audio 6, which is my only audio device. Again, we're going to double check our sample rate, and in this case we are going to go to the ASIO configuration, which will open up another window, and then we are going to make sure that the hardware knows also that we're going to be running at 48 kilohertz. The last thing that we need to look at is our buffer size. And here under the Complete Audio 6 control panel we have our process buffer, and we're going to leave it at 128 samples, but there are a number of different options. 128 samples should give you enough samples in the buffer so that you can minimize the amount of latency during recording process. So there you have it. Not a lot to it, but if you follow those basic steps, it's going to make your life a lot easier when you get to the recording phase. It's going to ensure a high quality recording, and it's going to ensure that you get things organized properly right from the start. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.